Hello, this is my fourth video in a series about adult children of alcoholics. And in the past, the first one was the Serenity Prayer. And that's all of these are good to see in sequence, but you don't have to. But anyway, the Serenity Prayer, then the laundry list, which is the 14 characteristics of a dysfunctional adult child. And then the next one is the solution, which was the video right before this, which talks about what kind of the overview of the whole program. And then finally today, we're going to talk about the promises. And the promises, well, that's a wonderful list of things, because after you've read the laundry list, you think, oh my goodness, it's like overwhelming. There's so many dysfunctional traits of an adult child. And I also want to talk about how meetings look. So if you ever do get a chance to go to a meeting, and if at some point we're not so locked down and we can sit together in a room again, the meetings they're very interesting. I don't know that there are going to be so many meetings in the future, but and each meeting has a little bit of difference. I think the important thing is, if you look up on the website, the ACA.org website, you'll see a way to find a meeting in your area and go to it, and then see if it feels like a safe place for you. I mean, I can't stress this enough, because there are meetings. A lot of times a new member in a meeting will just sit there for about the first 3-4 weeks just to get a feeling that, and I'm not trying to scare anybody about the meetings, it's just that it's hard to reveal all these things that we're going to talk about, and you want to make sure that the people seem mature and kind and compassionate. That's all. So but once you've found like a meeting that seems really good to you, and if you get a lot out of just listening, just reading these different things. Like today, we're going to read the promises. Some meetings don't read certain of these things that I'm reading to you. The promises, though, I think is so positive that it's really a good thing. Anyway, when you come to a meeting, typically it should start on time, and there'll be somebody who sort of acts like a leader, but they're kind of more the caretaker of a lot of things, and there'll be a treasurer. There are sometimes elected people that have to take care of just the basic things, just because there's money collected. It's usually about $2 per person or $3. You don't even really expected to give that on your first visit. But it's just usually to help with the rent of the room. Usually it'll be held in a church or community center, and using the room, other groups might want to use the room. So there's usually a small fee each month. So there might be a collection taken, and nobody faults you for just passing it on to the next person and not dropping, your couple bucks in there. But anyway, you have the Serenity Prayer. You might collect the money early on or at the end of the meeting. You'll read through these different things, the laundry list, the solution, the promises, and definitely the 12 steps. You always will read the 12 steps. And whether or not you go on and decide to do 12-step work, you're going to read the 12 steps at every meeting for sure. So the 12 steps are like what you really want to do if you want recovery, at least if you decide on this program. So anyway, there usually will be the Serenity Prayer, and then there's usually a reading, and it might be a round robin type of thing, so that each person reads a little section or a paragraph, and that's usually from this big red book here. But there are a couple other books that are used in the meetings that are based on this, and those are wonderful too. So, and that is often what the discussion will kind of circle around. Some section that you've read, like self-love, for instance, is like maybe one section in here, and you might talk about that. But sometimes it's just talk, whatever you want to do. So, and everybody usually has a chance, and this is a very big group, because people are shy at first, so they don't like jump right in. And if you really have something you want to share, if it's sharing time, you can do it. You'll be timed, usually, depending on the size of the group. You'll be timed. It might be anywhere from like 2 minutes in a very big group, to 3, and sometimes, it can go longer, but basically someone should keep track or else it goes like too long. And at the end, you might read the promises, which I'm going to read today at the end. You might not. And then you get together in a circle, back when it was okay to do this, holding hands and saying, there's like a little saying that you say, keep coming back, it works if you work it, and different variations of that. It's really fun. Doesn't sound that fun, but it is, because you're communing with others, and it feels like a lot of solidarity in that. Okay, so the promises. I'll try to go through them, and I may have to take my glasses off. We will discover our real identities by loving and accepting others. I think there was a laundry list about losing our identity because we focus on others instead of like stuff that we need to deal with our own life. So we discover it, which is great. Like, for once, you kind of know who you are. Our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. So it's a practice, and every day you have that parent, that adult parent that you kind of create, and we'll talk about that more, but you create a parent that you wish you'd had, and that parent gives you approval, and you're giving yourself approval, but that's just the mechanism to think of it as the parent that didn't do that, or didn't do that adequately, doing it for you every day as a practice. Fear of authority figures and the need to people please will leave us. We always want to do nice things for people. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of people pleasing. And I guess there's a healthy amount of fear of authority figures, though I'm not very much for that. But people pleasing is just that what you do to keep people, you're out of kind of desperation. It's great to please people if you can, but always understand there's a balance. Are you getting that back? Is it just you trying to please everybody to keep people holding on, keep people from leaving you? So that's not healthy. So we have to have good boundaries and understand how much is giving too much, maybe. Our ability to share intimacy will grow inside of us. So we might have been in relationships where we didn't have that ability to be vulnerable and share with another person. Obviously, that's with other people that you trust, and trust it takes some time to build, but when you build that trust, then you have more intimacy with others. And that's not sexual intimacy. It just means intimacy with everybody that is important to you in your life. So you can do that with more trust happening. As we face our abandonment issues, do I look funny? We will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weaknesses. This is a funny thing that you want to be attracted to strengths, meaning that people who have it together. And I don't mean on the surface in some sort of superficial way that doesn't matter, but strengths, like people that have character, will be attracted to that. And it says we will tolerate weaknesses. Now that doesn't mean that we accept weakness in ourselves, or, well, in a way, it means forgiveness. It means non-judgmental, attitudes. You need to be more tolerant of weaknesses, because people will make mistakes, and be tolerant of your own weaknesses, because this is a process. So that's what that means. But that used to confuse me at the beginning, like, why would I tolerate weakness? That's so weak to do that. Okay, We will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. So, wow, just go to these meetings and you can, make money. But a lot of like dysfunction is to, um, well, one of them is to overspend, to buy too much, to make ourselves happy, or dysfunctional thinking about money, because that might be one of the things that kind of came from your parents. So when you're going to be more financially secure, because I think you'd just be wiser. You don't need to just go out and spend money to make yourself happy, or on other people that don't deserve your money. But that's an interesting thing. More stable, obviously, because before this program, if you felt that you needed it, the biggest problem is being emotionally insecure. So you want to stop that. And stability is what's going to come as a result of getting your emotions in check. And then, and just peaceful. Some of what happens with an adult child is like a lot of like nervous things, like tension and holding stuff inside, and our bodies begin to clench, and we worry a lot. Get shaking leg syndrome or something. There's a number of ways in which we really don't feel peace, and so that's part of the program too. It promises a lot, doesn't it? Okay, so let's go on. It's all up to you, though. It's up to you. It's your responsibility. You want these things in your life. You can do that. It's within your power. Those are things that you the courage to change the things I can, remember? So you can be peaceful and stable and financially secure if you commit to doing it. Okay, we will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. Now, not reckless fun, like fun with addiction and fun with what was the thing? The excitement. I mentioned that in the laundry list, which is more of a trying to get a feeling, like an emotion that stimulates us and makes us feel, I don't know, happy or excited, but it's not like a real thing. We can play and we can have fun, and it can be sober fun, which can still be hilarious and joyful, but we might not have we feel such a burden of responsibility that even when we're having fun, we feel disconnected from it. So the idea is that this will result in having fun in our lives that's like really true and not fabricated or brought on by some kind of induced thing from substances or something. Okay. We will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. This is a big one. This is hard because, especially if we're the kind of people that always want to have somebody in our lives. Like I said, most people come to these groups because they've been in a relationship and it's ended. And a lot of times it's recommended that you don't get back into a relationship. Like you get to this meeting and maybe you've just ended a relationship, try to not get into a new one. People can say that, and people are still going to go out and find somebody, and I get that. But it might be early. It might not be time to get involved with somebody. But even so, you hopefully go through the program before you do it. And you choose people who can love and be responsible for themselves. So you're not going to be a fixer. You don't go and fix people. You don't go in and try to be responsible for other people. You're not doing them any favors. We're always told to be good boys and girls and to help our neighbor, and love our neighbor. Absolutely. But if we're putting all kinds of energy into our neighbor or person that we love, okay, then maybe it's wasted energy if they cannot reciprocate. We have to really, really understand when we choose who we are choosing, and So they have to be able to love too, and they have to take responsibility. And you're going to be freer and happier with that individual if you're not having to pick them off the floor all the time. Okay, so you're looking for those people and you're choosing that in your life. Okay, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. So this is really a big part of it, the boundaries. And I can say so much more about this, and I think I'll just put this off later. But it's drawing boundaries like that. You say you've come this far with me, and no further. And I don't mean just physically, but you recognize then somebody's crossing your boundaries. You say, I'm not comfortable with this. This is good. You're taking advantage of me. And you're not exaggerating this. You just know, that your boundaries are healthy, and okay, stay at that line. I mean, as trust builds, you let people come closer, but you can't just let a lot of people into your life who you can't trust. And on the other direction, boundaries are, you don't want to go in to other people's lives and do too much or invade their space or in their where they need to take responsibility, for instance. So boundaries, so important, going in and coming in and going out, both ways. Okay. Fear of failure and success will leave us as we intuitively make healthier choices. So, of course, there's a lot of things that we don't attempt because we're fearful. Like this program, we might not want to even attempt this program. We might feel like, well, what if I invest this time and then nothing comes of it? Or, I give it up or I fail or whatever. Well, there's nothing wrong with just starting it, and it is possible that you will fail. That's like what we do. That's how we learn. When we were kids, we fell off, we fell on our butts when we were learning to walk. We fell off the bike. We flailed around in the water a lot before we really got the hang of, swimming smoothly. So, we hit a couple bumps in the car when we first learned to drive. We will make mistakes, and that's part of learning. But we shouldn't be afraid of those failures, and we shouldn't be afraid of success. Now, this is a little hard to explain, but sometimes we think if we get what we want, we don't deserve it, or we're going to lose it, or we're going to screw it up, or we don't deserve it, like the imposter syndrome. We think, oh, look at me, I have these things. I don't deserve this, or I'm not worthy of this, or I'm just this poor schmuck that came from this ridiculous home. How is it that I have these good things? So we have to be able to embrace success. It's not a shame. It's a good thing. Nobody should tell you, oh, you don't deserve those things. You should say, no, I worked hard. I deserve a happier life, and that might include some stuff. Maybe I got some stuff or some success, or I got a higher position at my job. That's the whole point of the program, is to succeed. So it doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be, have physical manifestations as in materialism, but it might. But the best thing is that you feel successful, like you found your identity and you know who you are now and you know what your boundaries are. So all these things you're doing in the program will lead to success. And maybe not in every area and not right away, but in time. And we just keep at it, keep coming back. So, all right. All right. With help from our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. So this is sort of encouraging you to keep going. Like, I've met people that go to several meetings a week and they've been going for 10 years or more. I think, and I can't judge that. To me, it's like, okay, I want to have my Wednesday night or Thursday night free sometimes. But I think it gives them some strength. And this is actually what people do in the Alcoholics Anonymous groups too. They feel as if they keep going, it keeps giving them strength. And that is a better alternative than slipping back into alcoholism. It's a better thing than slipping back into an emotional, instability. It is, if it's what you need, and if it keeps you from maybe burdening friends and family, maybe too much with your emotional upheavals, going to the meetings is like a really good way to center yourself. Again, we can't have the meetings, So, but there are outlets, and again, for now, let's just use the internet and see how that works. We do the best we can. It's not an easy thing in lockdown to get all that support that you want, but just remember, lots of people are out there. They feel the same way. They feel isolated, and make a way to make peace with yourself and have a meeting all for yourself if you need to. You can do what I'm doing. Just make a like a little movie of it or something, pretend like you're talking to somebody else. Okay. Alrighty, finally, last one. This is 12. I forget to tell you the numbers. And again, I want to encourage, go to Google or whatever, DuckDuckGo. I use different searches now, search engines, but just put in the ACA promises and you can see all these, and it's like, wow, this is good stuff. Last one. Gradually, with our higher powers' help, we will learn to expect the best and get it. And coming back to that higher power thing again, it is possible to be, well, prayer is very powerful. It's asking, it's supplication, it's gratitude, it's all these things. And whatever however you approach the higher power, let that work for you. Because a lot of times we feel like on our own that we don't have the strength. And some people think, well, to believe in a God or to pray to God is weakness, or, and, really, it isn't even so much. None of this is weakness. This is all strength. The prayers, the step work, going to a meeting, it's all admitting that you want a recovery, a better life. So your higher power, draw from that. Again, that's your highest self, your best self, your best state of consciousness, vibrating at the best frequency. However you need to interpret that higher power, then that's great. But you will expect the best and get it. Like, think of that. That's, again, what is our best? What do we really want? Well, the program kind of reveals this, because sometimes we don't even know what that is. Like, what is our best? But the thing is that it's a period of discovery, and that's a bit exciting. Like, what I found in these meetings is that it opened up things for me that I hadn't even considered. I didn't even I couldn't have conceived of where my life might go. And actually, having started this in 2012, it was about a year later that I made some very big decisions about my life that I don't think I would have done. I think I would have felt incapable or just, too depressed or something. Something would have held me back. And being in the program gave me a lot of confidence and made me feel like, yes, these are some buried things that I want to do that I remember now, or things that I never thought of, but that are just perfect for me. So that's what it is. So the promises are great. Now, we haven't done the step work, and that's going to be, the steps is like 12 steps. And I almost feel like each step is going to need its own video, but hopefully a couple of them we can knock off. We don't have to do a separate video for each. But definitely step 1 is going to be its own video, maybe 2 videos or 3, okay? Because step 1 is a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff, and I haven't decided like how that that's going to look for me presenting it to you. I know the best thing I could do, like this workbook, if you can get this workbook, and I don't know, I'm thinking you can find stuff like this online, maybe as a PDF, perhaps, or a ebook, maybe, I don't know. But this is a workbook, and what you do is it has all the stuff that I've been reading, the promises, the solution, the laundry list, and it explains the steps. Okay, so when we do start the steps, ACA 12 steps is a little introduction to it. Let me see here. And it pretty much defines, it takes like this one sentence long. The first step is one sentence long, of course, all of these are. And but it just breaks down every little piece of that. I don't necessarily think I want to spend this much time on it, and it goes through actually all the steps before you actually do the step work. Let me see, boy, there is, I'll read it over, I'll decide how much of this prep we need to do, but I think we can just launch into the first step. Here we go. I was looking all this time for it. I should have had it bookmarked, right? See how well I planned. Okay, step 1 questions. They take step 1, okay, and then divide it into separate little questions. Like this is long. It is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It goes on and on. There's even a family tree in it, so it keeps going. 10, 12, 13 pages out of this is just step 1. So I'm probably going to take more than one video for the step 1. Step 2 is much shorter, and I don't remember the other steps right now, but 12 is like, if we get to that, I will have made a big, what do you call it, success, because this is the thing in my step work I haven't really done. I haven't had the chance to help somebody else, which is what you do in the very last step. I don't want to get into the steps because that's the next video, but promises, just reading them, if you take it seriously, that should make you want to start the step work, because you're going to think, oh, these are the great promises. And what I like about this program is it's not like some things I've seen, and I won't mention what those programs are, that promised you're going to be really wealthy and really rich when you get done with this, and everything you want and your perfect soulmate's going to come into your life. There's a potentiality for everything, right? But there's also, I think what you have to do is decide what it is success looks like, and not have somebody distract you with you're going to be wealthy, or distract you with you're going to attract the very best soulmate of your life. I think that is up to each person, and it really has to do with how well you do all this work. And after you do all this work, then you begin to know what that looks like. And so maybe don't have somebody else tell you that it's going to be some kind of a magic program that fixes everybody. And it might not even be that you want to be in the ACA program. There are other paths, and take this path if you want, take another path, or take all of them if you like. Go into Buddhism or some other thing, some other path, law of attraction, and see if that works for you as well. Okay, well, that's about enough from me, and I hope you had a good day, or you will have a good day for the rest of the day that remains, and that you take good care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.